Good morning. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning. England are playing in the Euros finals tomorrow. So I just thought ahead of that, I would cycle the Downs link from the mean streets of, as you can see, Guildford in Surrey, all the way down to Sussex. It's about 50 miles-ish, 45, 50 miles on the Downs link, which is it's interesting, it's an old railway line, now completely disused, which takes you from, like I say, from like the Guildford sort of area down into Sussex, Shoreham by Sea, and then from Shoreham by Sea, it's a nice little easy route across to Brighton. But yeah, as you can see, these cobbled streets, there's actually some, I think, police tape there, so, you know, Guildford, Surrey isn't playing around. I better get out of here. As you can see, beautiful place, Guildford. Lovely place, lovely town. Sort of feels like a bit of an extension of southwest London. Train here to London's very quick, 20 minutes or so. And then you're in almost the countryside. Start to get towards, I think I'm coming towards like the River Way. Way. As you'd imagine, the Downs link links the North Downs to the South Downs, hence Downs link. And because it was an old disused railway line, or it is a disused railway line I should say, supposed to be pretty even and flat for the majority of this ride, which, I'm not going to lie, is still going to be difficult. Distance is distance, and the longest distance I've done before this ride is about, let's say, 30 miles probably, but much more hilly than this was, or this is going to be, I believe. So here it begins. We're at the start of the Downs link now, officially. Going to Shoreham by Sea initially, and then on to Brighton from there. About to have my first banana. This is very interesting, isn't it? I started doing that thing, you know, when you saw those videos that went viral. Look at how apes open bananas. We've been doing it wrong this whole time, and opening them from the bottom. I've started doing that, and I'm not entirely convinced it is actually a more effective method of opening a banana, but I still do it anyway. In homage to our anthropoid brethren. Is it anthropoids? I think so. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking, I'm gonna start cycling. Beautiful morning, really. Perfect conditions for this kind of thing, for me anyway. I know everyone's tastes vary, but bit of sun, not too warm. Got a t-shirt on, but still kind of breezy. If I wasn't cycling, to put it that way, I'd be too cold, but it's nice. Trying to check my map was off. And to check I was actually going the right way. I watched one video, a guy on here, I'll link to his video, did it on an e-bike, and he navigated about 8 miles off course. He ended up following some markers for a race that he mistook for markers for the Downs link, and yeah, like I say, he went about 8 miles off course. Luckily for him, he was on an e-bike, so 8 miles on top of 30, 40, 50 is less of an impact, but you know, I'd imagine it still takes some doing. I'm not trying to take away from what he's done, but yeah, I would not fancy that, to be honest. This is probably going to be pretty tough as it is. So right now, very pleasant, very flat. Like I said, I had the initial hilly bits more towards Guildford, which weren't even that bad, to be honest. Coming up ahead, like I said at the start, this did used to be an old railway line. And to proof of that, coming up here, when you see the old station there and the old level crossing, where are we at? Bramley and Wonersh. Isn't that one of the places that David Brent's got? Wonersh. Got Yateley, Didcot.
You know, Winnersh.
No, it's Winnersh, isn't it? Sounds similar though, so can sneak an office reference in there. All good. So, as part of my research for this ride, I was basically reading into what you're supposed to do with these things, how you keep your body fueled. And as you'd imagine, as the internet is, a lot of people disagree. One of the most effective methods to sort yourself out. Thank you very much.
Morning.
Morning. A lot of people will disagree on the most effective methods of fueling. A lot of stuff I've read talks about wanting to avoid something called the bonk, which sounds a bit saucy. It's about, I think it's essentially when your body's sugar or whatever, you know, the accessible kind of carbohydrate runs out, and you just are running on empty basically. And so I'm basically looking at trying to keep to about 100 or so. Oh, I don't know where I'm going, hang on.
A few moments later.
Apparently towards the end of it, you get absolutely sick of everything that you're eating. So I've got packed in my bag load of small bananas, load of Trek protein flapjacks, and again, even that, some people are saying the protein and the fat and the flapjack blocks the carbohydrate. and other people say it's good because it's slow release. Some people just say go those little gels all the way. Others say don't do that because it's just artificial crap. But one of the most random ones I've got, one of these random little pro tips I saw from on Reddit, basically from a few different long distance cyclists doing something similar to what I'm doing today, is to boil up a load of little new potatoes. Apparently it's a nice little carb hit. The salt is nice, tastes good, not too much chewing. So when you get further on into doing this or doing your respective event, that they'll come massively in handy. So yeah, I'll just share that part with you as I come through Cranley, if the living is without you. You get the idea. Zinc, and here we are on the old railway station, which is kind of cool. One of these consistent reminders that this is an old railway line, as I keep saying. It's all pretty reasonably well signposted, but I am using an app. I'm using All Trails to get me from A to B, which I don't really think I'll need because it's mostly all a straight line like this. But you know, you never know when there's the odd. I've already had a couple of bits already when the link gets broken up by roads, or you know, it branches off in different directions, goes off onto different bridleways and stuff like that. So it's just handy to just know, have that reassurance that you're going the right way at all times. I love these shapes of the natural tunnels up ahead. Oh, it's an actual tunnel. It's a literal tunnel. It's me trying to be all profound. Look at the stylings of nature. No, just brick. Man-made brick. So, now across the border into Sussex, I think, according to that sign. So, something of a landmark, isn't it? So now in Sussex, nice dog poo bin there, Arsenal red, wee football. First sort of change of scenery. I mean, can't really see it that well, but still it's mostly been kind of woodlands, coming out of Guildford, coming down the North Downs way, but now suddenly in Sussex you're starting to see more of the sort of rolling farmland. Coming up closer now, 1 mile to go till my first pit stop, which is going to be the Bax Castle pub, which I'm not even convinced is going to be open by the time I get there, but gonna meet Charlotte there, who will be there to top up my water and all that sort of thing, which is nice. And unfortunately I don't think I'll be able to have a pint at this juncture. Oh, you're hard. Beer, is it? Oi, oi. Alright, here I am at the halfway point at the Backs Castle. Charlotte's come to me, mate.
Hi.
Annoyingly, the pub, the Backs Castle, which you can see kind of there, which was supposed to be a very nice pub, is shut. It's not open till 12. It looks like a decent boozer though, but alas, no. Halfway down the Downs link and feeling all right. So that's good. And a very special guest, Olive. Olive, hello, Olive. Hello, darling. Hello. Hello there. There's Leo. There you go, you got these little bits, random little bits along the Downs link. Just kind of tell you a little bit more about it. Obviously I've started up here and I think I'm now right into Horsham. So I'm roughly around, oh yeah, there you go, Copsale. That's where I am now. So I'm about a little over halfway to Shoreham by Sea, but then I'm going across to Brighton, so I'm probably about halfway from there. But here's a selection of some of the British birds and small mammals that will also be accompanying me on my journey. So the thing about all of this is that it is, and I say this in the loosest possible sense of the word, it's quite cool. There is something pretty nice about this journey, seeing parts of the old infrastructure there, and the fact that people take the time to preserve that and inform people down the line as to, you know, what it was used for. There's also a lot of especially further up the way, there's a lot of old canal paths and stuff there too, which link the whole country really. Guess that's one of those things before motorways. It's one of those things they go on about in like Peaky Blinders, if you ever watched that. They're always taking shipments down the canals from Birmingham to London, and it's just, I don't know, it's interesting to me anyway, thinking about how those things were once utilised, if you like. I don't know, no real point to this, just a random reflection. About 10 miles or so now from Shoreham. The sun is out, so I'm just having to sort of readjust how often I drink, I think, because I can feel myself getting way hotter. I just need to make sure I'm preserving all those precious fluids. But yeah, it's a lovely ride. I mean, this is a better view of the scenery. It's just incredible at the moment. Really kind of euphoric point of the ride. Getting a bit more tired, and just seeing stuff like this, it really helps give you that bit of a kick. Towards the last bit of my journey now. I can see the sea for the first time. I'm at Shoreham by Sea, making my way to Brighton now. As some of you may know who are watching this, and for those of you who don't know, there is a reason why I did cycle this ride today. It's essentially sort of raising some money for Down syndrome charity, in memory of my little boy Dylan, who would have been born probably today, this week, in which I've done this cycle. Fortunately, he was born a few months ago, born sleeping, as people say. We had the results back from his post-mortem. Turned out that he did have Down syndrome. It was confirmed. There's a very high mortality rate with Down syndrome children, those who aren't terminated. We did know pretty early doors there was a high chance that he would have Down syndrome, but you know, we had waited a long time to have a child, and regardless of that, you know, we just knew in our hearts that we loved him and we wanted to give him as good a, it's quite difficult to talk about, as good a life as we could. Did a lot of research into, you know, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. Did a lot of research into Down syndrome and what it might entail, and as a parent, and what it might mean for his life. And I would say I had a lot of my own kind of ignorances, my own misconceptions about the condition, about, you know, how life limiting it would be for a child. A lot of this data is based on decades old examples of when people didn't care to think about or nurture anybody with Down syndrome. But as you'll see now, as more research has gone into it, as more care, there's more love from hardworking people to better understand how to help people with Down syndrome, it has taken place. You'll see now a generation of, you know, young Down syndrome people in their late teens, early 20s, who are incredible, doing incredible things. And I'm not saying that the people before then, anybody older than that, are not incredible in their own way. I do, you know, I apologise already. It is a difficult subject to talk about and to get right 100% of the time. But all I know is that the future is looking better. It's an issue very close to my heart now. You know, I've chosen to donate to the Down Syndrome Research Fund UK. Essentially, the point of their charity is to look into the science of Down syndrome, to help young Down syndrome people with, you know, nutrition, to help the world better understand Down syndrome, to make sure that Down syndrome people aren't treated as second-class citizens, that they're afforded all the things in life that everybody else is. And it's a great cause, and if you can donate, that would be great. But yeah, just wanted to turn Dylan's memory into something positive, and you know, he's been with me on this journey. He'll probably always be with me, and you know, grief's a weird thing, you know, man. There's no way to get over it. You grow around it. That's one thing that somebody said, and that felt apt. So that's why Dylan, it meant son of the sea. That's what the name means, son of the sea. So the sea holds a special place for Charlotte and I now. I've cycled the Downs link, which I know is pretty on the nose, but it just felt apt for me. So the Downs link from Guildford to Brighton to the sea. We scattered his ashes in Lyme Regis, so whenever we're by the sea, it feels like we're a bit closer to him. So, you know, anyway, thanks to everybody. I'm going to finish off the ride now. You'll see a bit more footage at the end. It's been a good ride. It's been pretty pleasant, actually. I feel well fueled. I feel like I've done a lot better than I thought I would. I'll put a link in the description, everything below, if you wish to donate to my ride, which it might be over by then. So I'll put a link to the charity where you can donate to them there. And thanks. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video and my rambling anyway. Ha ha.